Okay, these are some of the original components, most of the original components that will be removed from your 280Z, 280ZX when doing the fuel injection conversion. The main one being the complete wiring harness that goes from the ECU inside the car to all of your sensors and injectors in the engine compartment. You can see on this harness, it got hot at one point and melted a lot of the wires. So that's one of the reasons for having this kit is if you get a harness that's damaged, sometimes it can be so difficult or expensive to find a harness. It might be easier just to switch out the whole fuel injection system. The original ECUs, which are getting hard to find, fairly expensive. We do bypass the airflow meter with a straight pipe, so that's no longer used. The throttle position sensor, no longer used. The cold start injector switch, no longer used. A couple other components here that you can get rid of, the auxiliary air valve and some electronics that will be removed from the car. Basically the stuff's just getting hard to find and expensive if you do find it, so we're trying to come up with a solution to just basically get rid of these components and get more modern fuel injection controls on the car. Okay, these are the components that come with the fast ECU kit. In addition to the other components which you'll see that we supply, but it's the ECU. This will fit down in that left kick panel in place of the stock ECU, and of course the wiring harness that goes to the ECU and all the sensors under the hood. Here's the handheld controller which comes with a cable to connect to the ECU, so this is kept inside the car and this is what you'll use to adjust your idle, air-fuel ratios. It's got codes that pop up in it if you have any faulty sensors, lots of things to that. The instruction manuals that basically explain how the whole fast system works. A lot of the stuff in here is geared more towards a V8 car, but everything applies to the 6-cylinder. Of course, the complete wiring harness that replaces the stock wiring harness that runs from the ECU to all of the sensors on the engine. Comes with an oxygen sensor and the weld-in bung to put in your exhaust if you don't have one already. Most 75 to 78 cars don't have an oxygen sensor. So these are the components that come with the fast system itself, and then we include additional sensors and brackets to make everything bolt right up to the Nissan engine. Okay, we're going to look at the individual components, the sensors that come with the EFI kit to convert over from the stock components to make it work with the fast system. Start with here on the end, we're going to replace the airflow meter with a test pipe. It will hook up to your stock rubber boots. These are some aftermarket silicone ones we sell. Next up is the air temperature sensor right here, and you can just make a slit in the rubber boot and poke it in, and it hooks up to the wiring harness for the ECU. Next up is the throttle position sensor, which will bolt up to your stock throttle body, and it comes with an adapter and the aftermarket sensor and the screws to install that. So that'll all bolt up right there, and it requires an adapter harness to go into the fast ECU. So all those components are included. Next up is the auxiliary or the idle air control valve, which are basically these components right here, all right here, and it can tap into anywhere on the intake manifold. Basically creates a controlled air leak to control your idle, and all those components come in the kit, and you can mount it pretty much anywhere in the engine bay as long as it's got a hose running from the manifold to it. It comes with the barb fittings to hook up a 5/16 hose to, so you can mount the idle air control valve anywhere. Next up would be the MAP sensor. This is the manifold pressure. This is basically how the ECU knows what kind of load is on the engine, and once again it can be mounted anywhere with the hose running off the intake manifold. So you can put it up on the firewall. We have ours mounted right on this inside fender well, and just the hose hooks up to it and then plugs into the wiring harness. The injectors, there will actually be 8 injector connectors, and we only use 6 of them. So pick any of the 6 connectors and hook up to the stock injectors. The leftover ones, we just have these laying in here for now. you can go back in and cut them back short and hide them inside the harness, put them out of the way. So no adapters needed there. They connect directly to your stock injectors. You can see here the cold start injector. We just left it in place. It's better to unhook it in case it's leaking. You don't want any additional fuel getting in there. A person could make a block off plate to put over that if they wanted to. An oxygen sensor will need to be installed on 75 to 78 cars. It does come with the weld-in fitting and the exhaust, so if you need to weld one in, install that. The coolant temperature sensor, you'll basically take off all your stock sensors up here at the water outlet neck and get rid of them. This is the only one you'll need. It comes with the correct adapter so that you can put this temperature sensor directly into your Nissan motor. That's really about it. That's all the components that come with the kit to make it where it'll bolt right up to your Nissan engine and connect to the fast ECU and make everything work.